was widowed just after the birth of his second son Daniel, and he has never remarried. He has spent his life in service to the Lord and making every effort to bring his sons Jake and Daniel up in the way of the Lord. Because of his faithful service to God, he has been greatly blessed in all he has placed his hands to do. He has established lucrative businesses in both security and property management and is in the process of further expansion of his brand into property development and renovation. One day, his youngest son approached him with a very strange request.
Come in. Oh, hi Daniel. Just in time. Your brother and I were just discussing the plans for next week's launch.
Oh, okay, maybe I should come back later then.
Don't be silly. This involves you too, son. I mean, all I have one day will be yours.
Yes, I know, that's what I kind of wanted to discuss with you.
Really? What is it you have in your mind, son?
Dad, this is really not the time to be discussing anything other than the launch. We've got so much still to get done.
Jake, son, I understand. We will get everything done, but I would still like to hear what your brother has to say. Go ahead.
Maybe it would be better if I spoke to you in private.
Daniel, there will be no need for that. We're a family, and we do not hide anything from each other. You need to understand something. Your brother and I are under a lot of pressure. That's the reason why he's taking some of his frustrations out on you. So please, go ahead.
Well, I have been thinking for some time now about what I want to do with my life and how I want to start my own business and explore the world. And
yes, go ahead, son. I'm listening.
And I wanted to know, well, I wanted to know if you'd be at all willing to give me my share of the inheritance now, so that I can use it as a deposit for my own business and to help me set everything up.
You what? You want your inheritance now? Dad, are you listening to this? You're not even dead yet, and he wants his inheritance now. What contribution have you even made to this business that you want to claim any of his profits?
Jake, that is enough.
See, that is exactly why I wanted to talk to you in private.
I can see exactly why you wanted to talk to me in private. Dad, don't even consider his request. It's so beyond ridiculous.
Dad, Jake,
Dad,
that is enough.
Honestly.
I'm going to ask you one more time. Leave your brother and I alone to speak for a few moments, and you can come back later.
Dad, honestly, I can't even believe you're going to consider his request. It's so beyond ridiculous.
Jake, please leave us. Daniel, please, come. Sit.
See, this is exactly why I didn't want him here when I spoke to you. I just knew he'd blow everything out of proportion. I just knew he'd try and spoil everything for me.
Son, don't worry about your brother. He's not here now. It's just the two of us. So let's talk.
Dad, you see, I've got such big ideas for my life. There's so much that I want to achieve and do. But for all of those things, you need finances. I want to be able to establish a name for myself, just as you have done. I want to explore the world that the Lord has given us. I want to meet new people and explore different cultures. Dad, I want to live life to fullest.
Son, I've heard all that you've had to say. What I just don't understand is, why would you want to leave your own country in an attempt to go and establish your own business elsewhere? All that I have will one day be yours. I mean, the hard work has already been planted and done. There's so much for you to explore in your own country. Why would you want to leave?
Dad, I really admire how much you have achieved in life. And I look at myself, and I want to achieve those things also, but for myself. You see, it's easy to just take over work that someone else has already begun. But to build something from the ground up, it takes hard graft. And I want to look back in a few years' time and say, look what I have done. And I'm young, Dad. You were young once. Surely you must understand wanting to spread your wings a little. You see, the world is not limited to what we see here. There's so much out there to discover. And I want to know at the end of my life that I have truly lived and experienced everything that I could have.
Son, you see, my worry is you'll be corrupted and you'll be led astray by the people out there. I mean, it's one thing to want to experience the world and know everything it has to offer you, but it's another to enter into uncharted territory without knowing what to expect. Son, I just don't understand your way of thinking.
Dad, I've thought everything through. This is not just a decision that I've made overnight. I've thought long and hard about this for a long time, but I just didn't have the courage to ask before.
Lord, what do I do? I don't want to hinder him from developing his own business or being able to explore the earth that you have given us. But I worry that away from me, I won't be able to watch over him or help him if he gets into trouble. This world is so corrupt. Suppose he falls into bad company and they lead him astray. I won't be there to tell him what to do. Lord, I don't want him to leave. He's my son, my baby. Lord, help me to make the right decision. Please help me to make the right decision.
Son, I have heard your prayer. Let him go, for he will return to you. Though he is apart from you, I will be with him, and for your great faithfulness toward me, I will watch over him.
Dad.
Yes, son. Daniel, I have made a decision, and I will give you your share of your inheritance.
Thank you. Thank you. You don't know what this means.
Daniel, sit down. Son, I want you to be very careful out there. The world is a very dangerous place. I want you to remember everything that I've taught you. Be faithful to your Lord God. And just remember, you always have a home to come back to.
Thank you. Yes, I know. Thank you. So when do you think I'll be able to get the money, Dad?
Son, it will take me a few days.
Yes.
But as soon as I have it, I will let you know.
Thank you, Dad. Thank you.
Daniel, just remember, son, I love you, and you can always come home.
I love you too, Dad. Thank you.
Only a few days later, Daniel's father was able to liquidate some of his assets and get him his inheritance. He quickly packed his bags and traveled all the way across the world to China. in hope of building his own electronics company and exploring new culture. Fresh from the airport, the cab driver had just dropped him at the wrong address and now he was stranded.
You okay, man? You seem a bit lost.
I'm okay, thanks, Jess. Just trying to figure out where to go and possibly how to get there.
You know, man, it's probably best if you find a place to stay, you know? I mean, whew. It's getting late. You don't have nowhere to stay tonight? Plus, you know, you out here like this, man, with your luggage, you know? It's not good for business.
Well, kind of, not quite yet. I did have a hotel in mind, but the cab driver seems to have, dropped me off at the wrong place.
Really? Man, you know something? I got a nice room upstairs. A nice room. You can stay for the night if you like.
I'm okay, thanks. I'm just going to try and find...
No, not really. It's okay, man. My rates are cheap, and I take good care of you. Think about it, I'll be inside.
Daniel was still waiting an hour later for a taxi to pass by, but there was none in sight, so he decided to take Joe up on his offer, just the once.
Hey! What's happening? You okay, man?
I'm okay, thanks. I'd like to take you up on that bar, give it a still stand.
Of course, yeah, it's okay. Take good care of you.
Yeah, thank you, but it doesn't be like tonight and tomorrow we'll try to sort it.
I'm Joe. It's my place. Okay.
After contacting the hotel the following day and comparing their astronomical prices with those of kind Mr. Joe, Daniel decided he could save more money staying at the bar, money he believes he could reinvest into his business. So he spoke to Mr. Joe and he agreed to rent him the room as long as he needed it. Now, each day, Daniel would leave in the morning in search of developers for his gadget or just someone that would be willing to invest their time and money into his idea. But each day the response would be the same: no, or sorry, we can't help you. He'd return to the bar, no closer to his dream than when he'd started that day. He became more and more disheartened as time went on. One day was so bad, instead of going straight to his room, he decided to spend some time in the bar. Before he knew it, he had a drink in his hand and a lady on his lap. This then became his regular pattern of behavior. He'd go in search of new business ventures in the day, and discouraged and upset, he'd return to the bar, lavishing his inheritance on alcohol and women and sometimes even drugs. Daniel's life began to spiral out of control. Eventually, he stopped searching for those business opportunities and instead found comfort in the arms of whichever woman he'd picked up the night before. He was soon out of money, unable to pay his rent, an alcoholic, a womanizer, and a drug addict. The kindness of Mr. Joe ran out, and one day he found himself with nowhere to live. He was now on the street, begging for any spare change, just so that he'd have something to eat, cold, alone, and depressed. He had one moment of clarity and was able to see himself and his life as it really was, and he was broken.
This is not what I wanted. Look at me. What am I doing? What have I become? How many of my father's hired servants have food to spare? And here I am, starving to death. I'll get up and go back to my father and say to him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and against you. Make me like one of your hired servants.
Please continue to watch over him, wheresoever he is, and in whatsoever he's doing. Please, Father, do him all sake.
Hello? 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 Dad! It's me! Daniel? Daniel, is that you? Yes, Dad, it's me. Son, how are you? I'm not seeing you such a long time. How are you? Father, I've sinned against heaven and against you. I am no longer worthy to be called your son. Make me like one of your hired. I'm so sorry. I've lost everything. I don't have any more money. I'm living on the streets. I just want to come home. Son, where are you? Where are you, son? I'm in Shanghai. Shanghai? Son, I'm going to get the next flight out. I'm coming to get you. Just wait. No, Dad. No, Dad. I don't want you to come all of this way. I just need you to buy me a plane ticket. I'll pay you back. I'll work it off. I just want to come home. I'm so sorry, Dad. I should have listened to you.
Son, please, don't worry about all of that now. Just get yourself to the airport. I will buy your plane ticket and I will send it over to you. I will see you on the other side, son. I miss you. I love you.
Dad, after all I've done, I can't believe you're being so kind. I've wasted everything.
Son, don't worry about all of that. Just get yourself to the airport. I'm lost for words, son. I miss you. I'll see you soon.
Daniel used the last of his funds to get a taxi part the way to the airport. When he realized his money could take him no further, he asked the cab driver to stop, and he made the rest of the way by foot. He arrived at the airport to find that his father had booked him a first-class ticket on the next flight to London Heathrow. He boarded his flight and made his way home. Daniel's father waited anxiously at the arrivals gate for his long-lost son. It had been 5 years since he had laid eyes on his baby boy. And there he was, just as on the day that he'd left. His father leaped from behind the barrier and ran towards his son.
Dad, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
It's okay, son. I forgive you. I forgive you.
I'm so sorry.
They left the airport and made their way home, where Daniel's father had set out to banquet for his return. He had invited all his friends to celebrate with him, for the son that he had lost had now been found. On entering the driveway, Daniel turned to his father and asked, "What's going on? Why are all these people here?" He replied, "They are here for you. I was so excited when you called that I arranged a party to celebrate your return. I was so happy I wanted to share this moment with all of our friends and family." The celebrations were in full swing, but in the midst of the party, the father noticed that one particular guest was missing, and he called his servant to ask where he was.
Where is Jake? In the office. Jake? Son? What are you doing here? Your brother's returned. We're celebrating him. What are you doing here? Come over. Son, work can wait. Brother's returned. Let's go celebrate him. Come on. Jake?
All these years, I've been sleeping and weeping, never disobeying your instructions, and always faithful. And you've never thrown me such a party. He squandered all of your money. He's intoxicated himself. And who knows what else? Not to mention the extensive list of women he's been with.
Son, I understand your frustration. And I love you. I mean, all that I have is yours. Your brother, he was dead, but he's alive again. He was lost, but son, he is now found. Son, I appreciate you. I thank you for all the efforts that you've put into this business, the development of it. Son, I love you. But today, please let us celebrate your brother's return.
Together with everybody else at the end of the scene. If you get tired, switch hands.
For I am persuaded that neither death, nor life, nor angels, nor principalities, nor powers, nor things present, nor things to come, nor height, nor depth, nor any other created thing shall be able to separate us from the love of God which is in Christ Jesus our Lord. Romans 8:38-39. The magnitude of God's love revealed through his Son is beyond comprehension. His endless, bountiful, gracious, and pure love can compare to no other. And there is absolutely nothing that can separate us from the enduring love of the Father. So today, if you find yourself in the position of Daniel, the prodigal son, you have the opportunity to come to your senses and choose the house of your Father. Don't allow another day to pass by where you are standing on the outskirts of his perfect will and destiny for your life, but make today the day that you choose to come home. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish but have everlasting life. John 3:16. As we celebrate this time of Christ and remember his life-giving sacrifice, I would encourage you to take a moment to contemplate your life. Have you turned your back on God? Have you failed to do what he has expected of you? Have you taken his kindness for granted? Have you traded your inheritance for worldly pleasures? Where do you stand before him? And if you recognize that you stepped out of his will, it's not too late. Today, make a change. Make the phone call home and be reunited with your Father today.